Welcome, friends and collectors. You've joined me for an all-new edition this week of Diecast Emporium Military Mondays, brought to you by my friends at smallscalehobbies.com. There's the website, there's the business card. Check them out if you're into wargaming and or military scale models. All right, before we go any further, let me quickly give you a update on where we are on everything. I feel like I owe you guys an explanation. If you can't already tell by my voice, a lot of the videos that you guys have been watching for the better part of the last 3 months by the time this airs were pre-recorded. And what that means is I knew that I had some pretty serious ortho surgery coming up, and I knew that I'd be down for a while. I had hoped by now, which would be November, December-ish, whenever this video airs, that I would have my situation completely squared away, and I'd have my teeth straightened out, and I'd have my voice back, and everything would be dandy. However, as we all know, life rarely goes as planned, and unfortunately, I am still waiting for things to get completely resolved. So long story short, I had planned for this, but not all of this. So the reason I pre-recorded all those videos is I knew that my voice would be affected for several months while I was waiting for things to get better. I had hoped by the time that we got to here, my voice would be back and you wouldn't have to listen to me with this minor speech issue that we've got going on. Bottom line, if you don't like the way I sound, hit the mute button. Life goes on. We still have responsibilities to do, and I'm not going to let this little thing knock me out. So, perfect segue into Military Mondays. That's a military attitude. You adapt, you overcome. So let's go. On this week's episode, we're going to learn about the M1150 Assault Breacher Vehicle, better known as the ABV, which is the vehicle you see in front of you. Rather odd looking, but the back of it at least, or the main chassis, may remind you of a tank, specifically our most current tank, the M1 Abrams, and you would be very right. The ABV is based on the M1 Abrams chassis. Now, the front part that you see, this part right here, that kind of looks like a mixture between a ski slope and snow skis and a bulldozer blade, that's what's known as the mine plow. And if you put two and two together, you know why this is called the assault breaching vehicle. This is used to clear mines and obstructions. Basically, engineers use this out in the field. This is a relatively new vehicle in the U.S. arsenal. In fact, it's only been in service since 2009. Currently, it is only used by the U.S. Army and the U.S. Marine Corps. What does this thing bring to the battlefield? Well, because it is an engineering vehicle, it is not an offensive weapon, but it does have one Browning 50 cal Modus, this right here, but that's more just for crew protection if it's being ambushed by a couple dudes with some AKs and RPGs. It doesn't have any main gun. It does have a M58 Miklik line charge. So what that does is, let's say there's a field out here somewhere that has mines. And instead of having a couple dudes with mine detectors like it's 1960s or 1970s, this thing actually will launch a line full of C4, and that will detonate upon impact in the minefield and disperse and clear away all the mines. That's the idea anyway. How heavy is this vehicle, you ask? Well, it's about 72 tons, and end-to-end with the plow on it, it's about 40 feet long. There are two basic implements that the ABV can have attached to it. So this one has the assault breacher attachment, if you will. This right here, the shredder, as it's also known. It can also be outfitted with a combat dozer blade, which looks very similar to a bulldozer dozer blade. It's a little bit smaller. It is just simply a main front dozer blade that can push obstacles out of the way. Nothing all that impressive. To show off this vehicle, I thought it would look better with the shredder on it instead. Alright, now let's focus in on the model. So this is a 3D printed model. And I didn't do a whole lot to this. I actually like the way that this turned out. I probably will add some more detail to this at some point, but I just have so much projects on the table to get through, whether they be for Military Mondays, whether they be for different videos for clients, or, other projects I got to do. So I just left it as is. So, as I said, this is the shredder up front. It is detachable. You can see the detail in the 3D print. It's pretty darn good. I like it even after it's been painted. The kit is, as I said, 3D printed. I'm not sure if I mentioned it is one of the baby bank kits that you can get off eBay. And he does have the dozer version as well. So if you want the dozer version and not the shredder version, or if you want both, you can get them. When I picked this up, again, I'm not sure exactly when this will air. Hopefully it will still be the same price. But anyway, when I bought it and when I'm filming this, it was about $31, not including tax or shipping. So decent value in my opinion. Taking a closer look at the, if you want to call it chassis or tank part, you can see that the detail in here is pretty good. I painted the modules in a gunmetal paint from Tamiya, which I like. You do have the different countermeasures on top of it. That's what these are. You also have the reactive armor, which I like quite a lot. You can detail these out as well. They don't come glued onto the superstructure or the turret, whatever you want to call it. They are separate pieces, so you can paint them individually, you can damage them, you can weather them, you can do whatever you want, and then glue them on as you want to. Speaking of pieces or how the model comes, I believe the tracks come off. I can't remember, because I built this like 3 months ago prior to filming this. So I believe the tracks come in each track frame, so that's 2 parts. Then you have the undercarriage, I'll call this turret, and then this is a separate piece as well, and then you have this. So, what is that, 5 or 6 pieces? It's not bad at all. And then obviously the gun too, so add another piece. Taking a look at this side, you can see the details that are in the casting or the mold. You can really do a lot. So here's some extra treads for the tracks if you want to paint those. Here's an extra idler wheel or drive wheel, sprocket, whatever you want. This is a sprocket. That's not a sprocket. This is a road wheel, so that's probably what you should call these. I'm in the construction world. We don't call these road wheels. We call these idlers. And we call that a sprocket. Anyway, on the back, there's detail on the back. And underneath, if you guys want to see it. Overall, I definitely would recommend this kit. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy to do. You can see you can hook it up like that if you want to, or you can just slide it over the front and have it out front. But there you go. That will conclude my review and this week's episode of Diecast Emporium Military Mondays on the M1150 or 1150 Assault Breacher Vehicle, the ABV. Certainly a unique and very specialized vehicle used by the Army and the Marine Corps in this country, but definitely something I wanted to showcase. I like showcasing the oddball stuff you don't typically see a lot of unless you're attached or know somebody in an engineering unit or an EOD unit, for example. And it's just a cool piece of kit. And another thing that if you are modeling current military vehicles and you want to outfit a train of vehicles, perhaps going to some exotic destination place such as Syria for vacation or something, or maybe Mogadishu, Somalia, or Iran, who knows? You can certainly outfit a train with a few of these. As always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care, be well. I'll see you in the next review.